Well, guys, the IFL Cup came and it went, and well, the American Dream Mall, was just amazing, right? It was amazing. You had all these content creators and everything come. You had all this, background stuff come. You had all this, media hype from Yahoo and everything like that. And really, Vegas beating Arizona in the IFL Cup quote unquote championship game really is just another regular season game. You know, really big victory for Vegas though. Really big victory. Um, Orlando got one of the victories anyway, the quote unquote consolation. But New Mexico probably shouldn't have been there. But it is what it is. Orlando had to give up some home games because obviously running the Kia Center to like 1,000, 2,000 people every week is not gonna break in the money. So you what gets him is him. So he knows what he's doing. You know, but yeah, what can I say that hasn't been said already? Like the top of the IFL, the mid tier, that's fun. Northern Arizona, Iowa, New Mexico, occasionally San Antonio. That's not fun. It's not fun. San Antonio's beaten Northern Arizona like twice, like the last 5 weeks, I think, which is crazy to me. You know. But yeah, IFL Cup was really, really fun to experience. For a lot of people, it was a really, really enjoyable time. Got a couple of got at least one good game out of it. I won't say all three games were good, at least one really good game out of it. But yeah, the IFL is expanding yet again, so we're ballooning this league up. Todd Tryon's vision of 24 is slowly coming to fruition. Athens, Georgia, they're getting the team, which I mean, I'm on board with that. It's not Savannah, but I'm on board with Athens, Georgia getting the team. And then the other team is coming from Austin, Texas. That's right. Austin. Keep it weird, baby. We're back. If we get the Georgia Force and the Austin Wranglers, I'll be happy about that. You know what I'm saying? There's also rumors of New Jersey being a thing and you know, Bay Area coming back in a way. But we'll see. We'll see how all that goes as far as those other two teams are concerned. But there's nothing really that has been completely confirmed yet as far as that goes. So we'll wait and see what those two expansion announcements not. You know, for one, a lot of people are like, well, maybe we can turn the American Dream Mall into a place where we can have 8 indoor football games a year, and it's like I don't think that's very feasible. But you do you. I mean, in a sense of where it's like this will be a consistent draw, but something special like this, I think it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Um, where do you want to go next? I don't know. I don't know where the IFL wants to go next with this. Could this be a thing? Next year? I don't know. You know, I I think the IFL has tapped into the niche very well, but a lot of people are still like, oh, well, they're playing a game in a mall, which is like we just had this like just 3 years ago. We just had this like 2 to 3 years ago. Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah, we had a game played in the mall 2 to 3 years ago in the AFL. Speaking of the AF1, it's still just Albany and the others really. But I mean, Nashville's looking good. Minnesota's looking decent, although I didn't really have anything on the ticker for the AF1 for some reason. I don't know why I didn't. Um, but yeah, Nashville's looking pretty good as a solid second team. Minnesota as well, and whoever can rise up out of the muck, really. Oceanside continuing to impress. Beaumont continuing to impress. Michigan is all right. Actually, Beaumont's kind of bad, but we're not going to talk about that. Oregon and Washington, there was a little bit of back and forth between those two teams, but I mean, what's going is going, and I'm pretty sure I forgot a team somewhere, but who cares at this point? The AF1, as long as they continue to truck along and continue to have, I've been watching, and really just, like, hey, it's just good old fashioned arena football, like nothing too crazy, aside from like Nashville's owners having like 9 owners, or and them introducing a new owner every 5 seconds, but it is what it is. Like, what can you really say about the AF1 right now that hasn't said right now? Same thing with the NAL. 6 playoff teams are locked in. Sorry to Louisiana. Sorry to Amarillo. You both are out. The Omaha Beef have won 4 straight games, which is very, very concerning. Southwest Kansas is still unbeaten, but a lot of things in the middle that can be solved over the next week. And really, it's just the 1 and the 6. Well, actually, not even the 6 seed because Omaha can climb up to the 5th seed, if things go their way. So I'm just saying the NAL playoff race has been very intriguing because of the fact that there are 6 teams going to the playoffs. Well, we know our 6. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it because, the 2 worst teams in the league are like the 2 worst teams in the league, and you can't even fault, one of them. You know, really, I mean, you really can't fault Louisiana. They tried. Amarillo tried too, but I mean, it's like you know, Louisiana got a bunch of Dallas players, couldn't win with those guys. Amarillo's they're there, they exist. They actually put up a fight a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. I can't remember. They actually put up a fight in one of their games, and it's like I don't get it, man. I don't get it. How are those 2 teams not winning games? But it is what it is. Again, all that's left for the NAL now is seeding this week. So I'll let you guys, kind of, determine that. Know, you know, a lot of people, and Omaha's probably going on the road. Just saying that right now. Uh, in the meantime, the AAL, a lot of scheduling concerns, really. Like, and it's really just the Wheeling Miners, really. But it's like they were able to take care of it. Michigan couldn't travel. Then they had the Pittsburgh Outlaws. Then you had a player go on the Shady Sports Network and talk some nonsense. When it's like that's honestly probably not what happened. I mean, again, the Wheeling Nailers, the hockey team has been playing, over the past couple weeks. And it's like some of these AL2 teams just do not have the funds to travel. And it's like we all know that because they're developmental teams. They're not going to travel like that. They're not going to travel crazy amounts to go all the way from like Michigan to West Virginia. It's just not going to happen, you know. So I think things will be glossed over and passed by like real quick. So there's nothing really that I can say about it that hasn't been said already. Like Columbus still leads the way and everything, but Wheeling, if they can actually play some games over the next couple weeks that aren't canceled, or moved around, you know like they could play Jersey at some point. They could win to Jersey, but like there's really no point in that right now. You know, Willie can get a couple things together. They'll still be the team that faces Columbus in the AAL championship. That's what I still believe will take place. Is those 2 teams will play against each other in the AAL championship. The TAL kicks off in earnest this week. We had a couple of preseason bouts, from Iowa and Nebraska, but those preseason bouts, there was like 1 or 2 things that I didn't want to say, but it's like honestly, there's really nothing I can say because there wasn't because these preseason bouts, not much is going to be said. TL again is streaming on YouTube this year. Really fun league. A lot of people are riding high, on a couple teams bolting after the season, and one of those teams could be winning the championship this year. I think a lot of people are riding high on Arkansas. I still think the TL championship is going to be Arkansas versus Ozarks. Now that Minnesota is out of the picture, you know, in the AF1. I think that's going to be RTL championship. Not, I haven't really too crazy with the predictions this year because I just don't want to do them because A, I've been getting them wrong every year, and B, I don't see the point in doing them. But again, really fun season, of the TAL, you know, coming up. Speaking of things that are coming up, the IAL, the International Arena League, forgot to put them on the ticker too because I just forgot. I simply forgot about it. IAL basically consolidated most of the European teams, so most of the European teams are gone. There's two left. Glasgow's one of them, and then I forgot the other team's name. But they're trying to do double headers inside these empty arenas, and it's like I don't know how these guys are getting paid with the way things are as far as arenas are concerned because the arenas have been pretty empty. They look like Fayetteville Mustangs games, guys. That's how bad the attendance is looking right now. They're looking pretty bad, but yet the games are being played, intriguing storylines, players that you wouldn't think you'd see, in the IL or in the IL. It was like, wow, despite the fact that it's kind of a little bit slower of a product in some ways, I mean, it's still pretty interesting. But you know, IL race, I don't even know how the championship stuff like that is going because just been so much consolidation and restructure. But that'll do it for me. I'm gonna get on up out of here and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. This week in indoor football continues. It's been like every other week at this point, but I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm really, really trying. So can you blame a guy for doing the interviews he did last week? I mean, I'm telling you, those two interviews were absolutely stupendous from me. I really appreciated the work that I put in, and I really appreciate you guys for watching. Continue to watch, continue to like, share, comment, subscribe. We are continuing to grow, and that's what we need from our legion, our gamers. Gamers, it's time. And that's what I call my channel people, my subs, gamers. Gamers at the time. Let's keep it growing. But yeah, that'll do it for me. I'm gonna so if I have to go to Austin at some point, I'm going. I'm going to watch whatever this Austin team is going to be. And we don't have Dallas, so I'm not supporting a team like San Antonio. I'm not supporting Beaumont. I'm not supporting Amarillo. I'm not. I'm just not doing that. It has to be Dallas, really. But I will take Austin as a secondary prize.